first, I have an announcement to make. The old, laughable Clippers are back. You're like, Bryson, time out. Haven't the Clippers always been kind of the laughing stock of the league for decades? Certainly. But ever since new management and new ownership has come in with Steve Ballmer, they brought in, obviously, Doc Rivers was there for a while, but now Ty Lue's there. We all respect Ty Lue as a head coach, do we not? They've been active in free agency. They've been active at the trade deadline, added some nice pieces the last few years, been in the championship race in at least two of those, so to speak. They did make the Western Conference Finals just 3 seasons ago. I mean, they were competent. We didn't look at the Clippers now the way we looked at the Clippers 15 years ago. Well, that's fair to say. New management, new ownership. It's what the Washington Commanders are hoping for, by the way, with Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, that they can change the culture. It can happen, and it has happened in a large way, shape, and form for the Clippers. Yeah, here's the problem. They weren't championship contenders coming into this season to begin with. I mean, often this offseason and even going into this season when I did my prediction show, when I was mentioning contenders in the Western Conference, I'm mentioning, obviously, the Denver Nuggets. Denver's the best team out west. I mentioned my Warriors, who are playing really good basketball. I mentioned the Lakers, who aren't playing so well, but I think they'll get it right. They got a great roster. LeBron, they'll get it right, I believe. The Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox is out now, but once he gets back, that's a very dangerous team out west. I'm not as high on the Suns as everybody else is, but you can't just slight Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. The Bradley Beal thing is not going to work. That's neither here nor there. You can't totally slight Phoenix. Never brought up the Clippers, even before early Tuesday morning or late Monday night, depending on what part of the country that you're in. And then the Clippers make the Harden deal, and they're out of the mix. I'll explain to you why. And again, this is why I say the old laughable Clippers. So this was potentially, in all likelihood, the last quasi-contending season for the Clippers, certainly in the Western Conference, if not the league as a whole. This is kind of Kawhi. Is he going to stay? Paul George, same questions could be asked. Russell Westbrook's on the vet minimum, and they got some veteran players in there. Like, there was some pieces I like. We like Ty Lue. The Clippers had a chance to certainly be competent, and at their peak, if Kawhi and Paul George stay healthy, which we know that's not going to happen. I hate that for them, but knock on wood that they're able to stay healthy. The good chance they're not going to be healthy throughout the course of the season. And they gave up literally all their wing depth. Here's how the trade went down, ladies and gentlemen, in the wee hours of the morning yesterday, okay? The Clippers got James Harden and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, now the third team he's played with James Harden. 76ers get Nick Batum, good stretch 3. Marcus Morris, another good stretch 3. Stretch 3, two-way player, Nick Batum, Marcus Morris. Robert Covington, KJ Martin, and draft picks. Multiple draft picks. Oklahoma City was also in the deal as well. I think Oklahoma City might have given up a pick as well. So it's a 3-team deal, but the two main players were Philadelphia and the Clippers. I'll get into Philadelphia a little later on in the segment. But this was about as bad, about as inexcusable, about as WTF were they doing type of trade that the Clippers just put together. So they have an aging point guard who doesn't play defense and is the all-time infamous playoff choker. And choke is not a word. You guys know, I think it's the most overused word in the English sports dictionary. James Harden's a choker. Choking to me is when the moment looks too big for you. You're expected to win. Not only do you lose, but the moment looks too big for you. James Harden's not only choked in the past, he's quit in the past. So you have that as your point guard, okay? You've got as your 2 guard, and I'm not even sure if they're going to interchange, whatever the case may be. It's a rough spot for Ty Lue. Poor Ty Lue. Your 2 guard is a guy who is aging, athleticism is waning, can't shoot, awful basketball IQ, Russell Westbrook. That doesn't sound great. Matter of fact, the last time Westbrook and Harden were together, when Westbrook was at the tail end of his prime and Harden was still kind of in the middle, or at least at the back half of his, but still in his prime, yeah, it worked so well. They got gentlemen swept in the second round by the eventual champ Lakers, and they blew the team up. So it's going to work, obviously, now that they're older. And as their 2 best players, their second best player is Paul George, a guy who I like. I've always been a Paul George guy. I think he showed me a lot in that 2021 postseason. I've been a fan of him since. Love his podcast a whole bit. I appreciate great podcasters out there, and Paul George is certainly one of them. But Paul George can't stay healthy. Love PG. Think he's a cool dude. Really good player. Too great player to speak. Can't stay healthy. And then Kawhi Leonard, who is emotionally distant, not the defensive player he used to be, not a playmaker for his teammates, and very well may have arthritic knees. Yeah, that'll contend for a championship in the Western Conference, of course. Of course, against the Denver Nuggets, who have nothing but chemistry, nothing but guys in their prime. Probably the best player in all of basketball today as we sit here in Nikola Jokic, although Steph and Luka are making a strong case for that. But Jokic is probably still comfortably seated at that top spot. They're well coached the whole bit. Yeah, they're better than Golden State, who, is just won 4 of the last 9 championships, have a better number one option, have chemistry out the wazoo, have one of the 3 best coaches in all basketball, and have a significantly better bench. What are we talking about? The Lakers even. You say, the funny thing is the Clippers-Lakers actually play tonight. The Clippers win, people are going to freak out about it. It's November, means nothing. Lakers haven't beaten the Clippers in a game, regular season, or they haven't faced the playoffs yet since, I think it was July back in the bubble of 2020. Who cares? And I hate the Lakers, but Lakers have a title. Clippers have a Western Conference Finals appearance. Lakers are in a better spot. Better number one option in LeBron James, who, yes, he is still the Lakers' number one option. He is more consistently good than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, while I don't trust him physically, is still a very good 2. Good bench, good wing depth, guys who can get their own shots. Darvin Ham's really the only question I have about the Lakers. Over reliability on LeBron. Over reliability, is that a word? I don't know. Just made it up on carving it up, potentially. I don't know. LeBron, they're too reliant on him. Legitimate concern. One that I detailed and laid out last Friday. But they're not incompetent. I've criticized the Lakers. This is a situation where they don't know what the heck they're doing. The Warriors, we know they know what they're doing. The Nuggets, we know they know what they're doing. Sacramento clearly knows what they do in the last few years. I mean, Sacramento coming out of the depths of the NBA to Sacramento's pretty good. Sacramento just almost beat the champs last year, and they look to potentially, assuming Fox is able to get back healthy sooner rather than later, to be a legitimate threat to scare somebody in the playoffs. And there sits the old Clippers. You know what's funny, too? Think about this, folks. It's not just that the Clippers sapped their wing depth, have about as unreliable a top 4 player group as you could possibly have. James Harden is going to be a free agent. Russell Westbrook, potentially, I believe, is going to be a free agent. Kawhi Leonard, free agent. Paul George, free agent. PJ Tucker even, free agent. The Clippers, think about this, folks. Due to this Harden trade and trades they made in the past, not only could they lose Harden, Kawhi, Tucker, Paul George, and Russ, not only could they lose all of them for nothing. Think about this. It isn't as if, okay, they're going to go for the championship this year. It's not going to work, and at least they'll go into a rebuild next year. No, they can't rebuild. For the next 5 years, the Clippers do not have control over their first-round picks or their second-round picks. They're stuck. So literally, unless they win the championship, they're done. For the next half-decade. And it's not like, who are you going to trade? Terrence Mann, Amir Coffey. Again, some of these guys might be free agents for all I know. Bones Highland, Ivica Zubats. Really? That's the guys you're going to move to? I just saw they traded one of their centers today for cash considerations. They don't control their picks. Any of them. For the next half decade. And all of their star players are free agents. What are you doing? This is why I say, listen, we laughed at the Clippers even the last few years when they've gone out in the playoffs, their stars can't stay healthy, or when they blew the 3-1 lead to Denver in the Western Conference Finals. That's when I officially sold my Clipper stock for good. But we all kind of make fun of them, right? This is like Donald Sterling stuff. If Donald Sterling ever had a good Clippers team when he was the owner back in the day, this is what he would have done. This is how he would have screwed things up. This is as laughable as it gets. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.